Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal Football Club. The transfer market is still going on. A couple of people thought the beginning of the season means the end of the transfer summer. Actually, no. This transfer summer will run until September. So make sure you're always tuned in for the latest around the club in terms of the transfer market. A couple of incomings are still on the way, according to Mikel Arteta. That is what he said, at least in his latest press conference. He said we are still working on a couple of deals, incomings and also outgoings. So expect me to be reporting around a couple of rumors. Now we'll be diving into Moussa Diaby. According to the Footy Insider, they have reported that Moussa Diaby has been given the green light to join Arsenal by Stan Kroenke in order for us to complete our attack. Now, we understand Mikel Arteta wants an attacker, at least a wide forward this summer, one. And Moussa Diaby has always been on the radar for the club, although the player came out and said he wants to stay at Bayer Leverkusen for another season. We have also been linked with Goncalo Guedes, but I think he will be moving to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Leeds United all interested in Goncalo Guedes. Amad Onana is now going to be joining Everton. Arsenal have been interested in the young Belgian. But looks like Everton will be the club to sign him. Lucas Torreira has now completed his move to Galatasaray, and that means that Arsenal could have the opportunity to bring Yuri Tielemans in. All that and more we're going to discuss in this video. But of course, let me know in the comment section below. Moussa Diaby, is he a player that excites you? Is he one player that you feel Arsenal should go for ahead of the likes of Jarrod Bowen and probably Leroy Sané and probably Pedro Neto? Because in my opinion, Pedro Neto has played in the Premier League. If Arsenal try to sign him, now that Wolverhampton Wanderers are interested in getting in Goncalo Guedes, if we can get Pedro Neto, I feel it would be a nice buy. But anyway, talk to me about Moussa Diaby and Pedro Neto. The two, if you are to balance the board, if you are to try to pick one, which one would it be? Of course, hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes as well. Now, let's start off with Moussa Diaby. A couple of stories have been flying around the last 48 hours that Arsenal are interested in Moussa Diaby again. But all these have been very, very weak stories, and that's why I didn't give them a lot of attention. But the one from the Football Insider, which is which you will find on Twitter, calling themselves the Footy Insider, is one that is very, very interesting. They're saying that Stan Kroenke has given Arsenal the green light. He has approved for us to sign Moussa Diaby. Now, this is a deal that will be done late in the transfer window. It is not one that will do early, or one that is actually going to be very, very easy. Not early because we are already late in the window. But it's a difficult one. £65 million is what the parent club, Bayer Leverkusen, are asking for. But the players also already come out and said, I'm going to be staying at Bayer Leverkusen for another season. Now, that is a difficult transfer. That is a difficult deal to do. Because one or two things here you have to consider. One, you're looking at a player who has made up his mind to stay in Germany, and he feels staying at Bayer Leverkusen for another season will actually not do him any harm. Now, you're also looking at a club in Bayer Leverkusen who feel this could be it. This could be the season where probably we challenge Borussia Dortmund, probably we challenge Bayern Munich, probably we challenge RB Leipzig for those high top spots into the German Bundesliga table. So Leverkusen, do they want to sell? I'm not really 100% sure they do not, but I'm not 100% sure they are willing to sell. Arsenal, are we willing to pay £65 million of 65 million euros for Moussa Diaby? In my opinion, I think Arsenal are. We were willing to pay that much for Rafinha, and then he ended up going to Barcelona for around 77 million euros. If Arsenal are given the opportunity to sign a wide forward for around 65 million euros, and that is Moussa Diaby, I think we will actually go for that, because last season had very, very interesting numbers. 15 goal involvements, actually 13 goal involvements in terms of scoring, and 12 goal involvements in terms of assisting. So overall, his numbers were absolutely brilliant. 25 goal involvements in terms of scoring and assisting. And also, if you think about it, he's one of those young talents that the world is going to be looking at in come the World Cup. I think he's already made his debut for France, and he's going to continue influencing and making those call-ups. I think he will be there in the World Cup. And if Arsenal can get him right now, before he explodes, before the world look at him as this high-end class, talent after the World Cup, then it would be the better. For me, I do not have a problem with Arsenal signing Moussa Diaby. I don't have it. I think it's a quite good buy. It would be a very, very good buy. One that plays very, very well on the left. I think, for me, many people think Arsenal trying to find someone who provides competition to Bukayo Saka, and I do not disagree with that at any point in time. But I also think Arsenal wants someone who can challenge Gabriel Martinelli. Look, I looked at Gabriel Martinelli in the first half of that Crystal Palace game. Was there any player that was better than him? I do not think actually in the first half. Overall, I think it was William Saliba, but in the first half, he was magnificent. Those first 15 minutes, he was going to tear Crystal Palace apart. And I think that is what Mikel Arteta wants to see from Gabriel Martinelli throughout the 90 minutes. We've seen it with Luis Diaz, Liverpool. We've seen it with Mane at Liverpool. We've seen it with Riyad Mahrez. You need to be providing those performances that are strong, but they need to be very, very consistent. With Gabriel Martinelli, my problem with him is the inconsistency in performance. So if you brought in a player like Moussa Diaby, £65 million, honestly, he's not going to sit on the bench. He would be one to really push Gabriel Martinelli into the player that we all know he can actually become. But the advantage with Moussa Diaby is that he's played most of his minutes last campaign on the left-hand side of the attack. So Bukayo Saka and all the English fans, Saka is going to be dropped when Arsenal sign a new forward. That will be no concern anymore. But also, I think Diaby can play as an inverted right winger, just like Saka is doing, because he has that very, very soft, not very soft, but very, very, I think we should say, quite gifted left foot. So if you played him as an inverted right winger, just like Saka is doing it, then it would actually make a lot of sense. And if you look at what Mikel is trying to do with that elbow system, the inverted fullbacks, the inverted wingers, then Moussa Diaby actually fits into the system very, very well. So the Football Insider is saying that Stan Kroenke has given us that a green light to sign Moussa Diaby. The green light obviously means the money, right? I think it means the money because it's an expensive deal. And I want to see how this one runs until the end of the transfer summer. Is it a deal we can actually do? Fabrizio has said Arsenal will spend money on a new winger if they trust the guy. If they trust the player, then they will spend money on him. So there is no problem with us spending the money on the player. The problem is it is late in the window. Will Bayer Leverkusen eventually say, let us let him go? Let us just give up the player and we can look at a couple of other options. Because the problem with these deals is you don't give the parent club enough time to do the replacement, to do their research, to do their homework in terms of who replaces Moussa Diaby, at the moment, and that's what that is the problem. Now, I also want to talk about Yuri Tillemans. It looks like Leicester City are in deep trouble. They are the only club around the top 5 leagues in Europe. All clubs in the top 5 leagues in Europe have brought in someone. Leicester City are the only club that have not signed anyone. They have lost top goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, and I think he's going to France to join Lens, if I'm not really mistaken. And they've not really signed in anyone. And I won't be very surprised if James Maddison actually moves to Newcastle. He's quite unsettled right now. Yuri Tillemans, of course, we know he will be moving to a Premier League side. That could be Arsenal, obviously. So Leicester and the way they're doing their business is quite unknown. We do not actually know why they're actually doing this. But anyway, Brendan Rodgers has apparently asked for 6 signings before the end of the season. They've been looking at a couple of options, including Banleno from Arsenal, who has joined Fulham now. They've been looking at Amadou Onana, who has joined Everton now. They've been looking at Okan Kokun. I think Okan Kokun at PSV would come in as a replacement to Yuri Tillemans if they let him go. They've been looking at a couple of players, but they've not seriously pointed at anyone. They have seriously not pointed to anyone. The likes of Boubacar Somare are linked back to, with moves to, with moves back to France. So it might be a very interesting window or an interesting window for Leicester City fans. But the point here on Yuri Tillemans is Lucas Torreira has actually completed his move to Galatasaray. Now, at least we know that the Yuri Tillemans deal depends on how many outgoings Arsenal can make. At the moment, Pablo Mari is on the edge of joining any other club apart from Arsenal. He will be playing for another club, not Arsenal next campaign. FC Monza have been the club interested really, but they're looking at a loan deal with an obligation to buy or with an option to buy. Now, Arsenal feel they want to sell Pablo Mari straight away this summer, but I think Pablo Mari is very close to leaving Arsenal Football Club. Lucas Torreira, like I've reported, he has joined Galatasaray. That is done and dusted. We're looking at Hector Bellerin, who will be leaving the club as a free agent. Hopefully, if Arsenal and his representatives can actually reach a deal or agree on a deal. So the only problems that we have is Ainsley Maitland-Niles in that midfield. If we can get a club to buy Ainsley Maitland-Niles, then for me, it will be over. It will be absolutely over. And that is what Arsenal want. And that is what Arsenal are looking for. So at the moment, we do not have any club interested in Ainsley, but we have offloaded Lucas Torreira. Yuri Tillemans, that is where he comes in. One more outgoing like this in that midfield. One more player to set a foot right out of Arsenal. And Yuri Tillemans, bang, boom. We will be going for him. Look, I looked at Granit Xhaka in that central midfield role. And Xhaka is not a bad player, by the way. Let me correct myself, right? And I'm correcting myself in front of 56,000 people. Xhaka is not a bad player. Xhaka is not a second number 8, though. I think I make a lot of sense here. If you play him in as a second pivot, in a double pivot as the second guy in the pivot, I think he does well. He's very, very good in terms of covering on the left, especially if those spaces that are left by overlapping fullbacks like Kroenke and Zinchenko. It does that very well. But if you're playing him in a single pivot, where Partey plays the single pivot and Xhaka is going to be forced to play as a second number 8, you're wasting your time, bruh. You're wasting your time. He's not that guy. Look, he struggles a lot when it comes to passing the game. He struggles a lot when it comes to that clever passing. He struggles a lot when it comes to meeting the high demands of players like Martin Odegaard. You cannot play him alongside Odegaard. Odegaard is going to be producing those 0 touches all the time. He's going to be producing those no-look passes all the time. And with Xhaka, he's a player that expects the ball to be played onto his feet, not into space. And the moment you play that ball into space, he's going to be a waste of time. Look, I don't have a problem with him really personally. I just feel the demands of the system, they're not for him. They're actually not for him. And talking about the demands of the system, I thought Arsenal should be signing Amadou Onana, but Amadou Onana is now going to be joining Everton. I feel it is one that Arsenal have just wasted. I mean, I thought he was a player we could go for. I thought he's a player that would just join Arsenal on a bargain. But Everton have signed him, and they now have Abdoulaye Doucouré. They have Amadou Onana in there. I think Townsend is also another great shout for them. So I don't have a problem with them going there, I don't think Everton will be bitter rivals for us. No, they've already lost their opening game to Chelsea, and I think they will lose more games. But Amadou Onana, one that I really wanted, honestly. I don't even want to lie about it. One that I really wanted us to sign, and we have actually not done that. Now, there has been a fiasco around Goncalo Guedes. 27 million pounds has been a bid has been placed onto the table of Valencia. That has been confirmed by manager Gennaro Gattuso. But the clubs that in the race include Wolverhampton Wanderers. When it comes to Portuguese players, don't joke with them. Don't underestimate them. We also have Arsenal. We also have Newcastle and Leeds United. Now, Leeds United find themselves in a situation where they've already lost their key signing, that is a Sinistera, to injury, and I think they will need him back as soon as possible. Look, great shout! They won their opening game of the season, and I think they'll be proud. They'll be proud of themselves. They had a very, very bad season last campaign. This campaign they've started off well. Wolverhampton Wanderers, like I said, when it comes to Portuguese players, they have a point to prove. Arsenal need a winger, but 27 million pounds for Goncalo Guedes. We don't look the favorites. Honestly, we are not the favorites. I want to come here and tell you that we are the favorites to sign Goncalo Guedes, but it's exciting, really. But we are not the favorites. So at the moment, Moussa Diaby is the player to keep our eyes on. According to the Football Insider, Torreira joins Galatasaray on a permanent, and that will be opening up space for Yuri Tillemans. Keep that subscribe button moving, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.